Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different and kind of go over the top 5 things I think Wargaming could improve in World of Warships Legends. I do want to say, to start, that I think they did a really good job at launch. It's relatively bug-free. I know there's some people have been having some issues, but they are working to address them, and they have addressed a number of them already, so I'm not concerned about that. Content-wise, there's plenty more coming. And 3 lines is actually, I think the PC version launched with 2 lines, so we're actually a little bit better off than they are. But I think there's 11 nation lines right now on the PC version, and so there's going to be plenty more content coming down the line. I'm not concerned about either of those 2 issues. There are a few things in the game though that I think if they changed, it would make the experience a lot better for everyone. The first thing I would try and improve on is the spawn locations in some of the maps. There are a few maps where you can get sighted like within the first 5-10 seconds. I've even seen games, like high tier games, where people have really high detectabilities where the ships are spotted basically when the countdown starts and the game begins. So adjusting those so that players could have maybe 30 seconds of time before they're likely to be spotted, so that they can adjust positions and their strategies aren't immediately available to the opposing team. I think that would be a big help. The next thing I would take a look at is the after action report. Right now it seems like it's pretty bare, and there's not a lot of information to get from it. Granted, there's the one screen that shows your own personal performance, but like the scoreboard, it just ranks you by XP earned, and it doesn't really do a very good job of explaining how that XP is being earned. So I'd like to see some more statistics, especially when it comes to silver production, which I've gotten a lot of questions about, and I have my own questions about. So just as a heads up, I am working on a video explaining how silver's earned and what the best tiers are to earn silver or accumulate silver. But just as a heads up, there is something called a service fee per ship or per match, and it basically depends on what tier you're on, and then it is charging you a base amount of silver just for starting the game. And so if you don't earn above that amount of silver, you're actually going to be losing money in that game. That's not explained very well, but I am doing some extensive testing, and it's going to take a little bit to accumulate the data, but once I do, I'll give you a pretty good estimate of what exactly the service fees are, and I'm going to take a look at which tiers are best for racking up silver when you're trying to grind out for upgrades or unlocking new ships. I'd like to also see something added to the game that are similar to Aces in World of Tanks. If you're not familiar with that game, it's basically an award that's granted for earning the top 1% of all games played within like the last 2 weeks, I think, for XP. So it just lets you know that you have a really outstanding game, and I'd like to see something like that added. I think that'd be kind of cool, just to let you know, like, wow, this is really, really a great game for this particular ship. But just overall, the after action report, I think it could use some beefing up. The next thing I would like to see improved upon is the ship selection in the port. Right now you have to scroll through a bunch of ships, and there's no real way to sort the ships. And again, I'd like to take a look at World of Warships Mercenaries as like a good system. In that game you can sort by tank class, nation, tier. There's various filters that allow you to like kind of sort your ships and find what you're looking for a lot quicker. Right now, there's almost an incentive to sell your ships that you're not planning on using, just to make it easier to find them. Like, I went through and sold all my tier 2s. Now, that's not cutting down a lot of ships, but I'd like to hang on to all my ships, and I think most players would too. But just making it easier to sort through your ships, that'd be a huge improvement, especially as more nations are added. It's going to be really kind of clunky, so hopefully they can add something like that to the game. The next thing, the fourth improvement I'd like to see is limiting the radio spam. I don't know about you guys, maybe some of you are radio spammers, but I don't think it's funny, and I think it's really annoying. It actually causes me to yell at my TV sometimes. I'm not going to repeat right now exactly what I'm yelling at the TV, but and I'm trying to think of how the best way to do it would be, because there are legitimate situations in the game where you need to use one or more commands in a rapid fire kind of manner. So I don't know if like a 30-second cooldown would be the best way to do it. That might be, but we don't need 30 goofballs spamming the radio commands back and forth for the entirety of the map. It's just really annoying. So hopefully they can take a look at that and come up with some way to limit it. And finally, I'd like to see some sort of website, or maybe even in-game, something that kind of keeps track of your stats and lets you know how you're doing overall. I know a lot of players aren't necessarily that concerned with their stats, and that's fine. But there are a lot of players, myself included, that kind of like to know how they're doing overall and see if they're improving over time. So hopefully they can add something along those lines. But overall, like I said, I think the game's pretty good in the state it is now. There's just a few things I'd like to see changed. I do want to hear below in the comments from you guys. What do you think? If you have other ideas, maybe I'm overlooking right now, or just they're not coming to my mind. But let me know what you think they could improve. If you want to tweet this video at Wargaming, maybe that'll give them a heads up on it and give them access to it, and then they'll implement some of these changes. If you do want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle I think is at @tbullgaming. I'll put the link down below. And that's it for this one. So if you did like the video, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I got lots of World of Warships content coming out all the time. Questions, comments, in addition to your suggestions, leave them below. And we'll see you guys all later. Alright, peace.